Okay, so here's all the riffs and bits for Take This Oath by Killswitch Engage. So the main bits, the intro, the verse, I'm just going to call it the main riff, and it's all based around the same frets. The only difference is how you play it each time. For the intro riff, it's this one. You play that a couple of times. 6, 5, 0, 3. All power chords, obviously. All down picked, full metal. So that's the first bit. Second bit is, so that 6, 5, 0, 3, 3, sorry, up to 5, and then, so I'm playing a power chord there on the first fret on the A string, and then an open power chord on those strings there. So I missed out a note there, sorry, when I was explaining it. So 6, 5. 6, 5, 0, 3, 0. Probably easier if I just play it and try not to talk when I'm doing it. The verse is just a variation on that riff. It's essentially exactly the same frets and everything, but it's just how you're playing it. So when the vocals kick in, they're playing the riff a little bit more open. Second time's more muted. So what you do is you play it 2 times more open. So we've got now what I'm doing there is I'm not picking absolutely everything, like with the chords, like I'm hammering on as well. So that's a pull off and a hammer on from 3 to 5. Then the second time round you're going to play it with a lot more muting. So I'm almost entirely muting that all the way through. Letting it up a little bit on some of the power chords. Obviously I don't want to mute those off like completely. Don't want to chug them completely, but yeah, that's what's happening there. So let's have a Butcher's riff B. What's going on here is like this string skipped, really cool sounding riff, where the root notes change. Killswitch do this in a few songs. It's very much sort of drawn from like sort of Swedish death metal stuff, originally back in the day. So the riff is like pivoting, if you like. Sort of, it's what's called pedal point in classical music terms, anyway. But this is metal. This is metal, right? So what we're doing is, first of all, your root note is going to be 5th fret on the E string. So we've got, so that's the first part of the riff. Open, 3rd fret on the, an open sounding, sorry. 3rd fret on the A string, 2 chugs on the 5 on the E string. Now we're going to do that again. Just get used to that. You see like this finger relaxes a little bit as this one goes down. All down picked. The reason for that is because you want that separation in the notes always between strings. You don't want, well, that does sound quite cool, but we don't want that in this case. We want like that. So that's the basic mechanic, that's the basic like premise of the riff. And then the next note, I'm going to play it with that finger just to be awkward. but that's the 5th fret on the A string, back to our root note, which is the 5th fret on the E string. So put those two together, and then 6 on the A, back to 5 on the E. So that sounds like this. Only one time on that number 6 there. Here we go. The lower note changes to 6, which is even more awkward. So, I mean, you could do it with that finger. You could go to 6th fret with your ring finger. I'm going to attempt to do it with my pinky. So, exactly the same notes on this string as we played before, but the bass note's changing this time, so it's the 6th fret on the E string. That time. You have to roll your pinky. I mean, you might not want to do that, but obviously when you're playing it a little bit quicker, it's maybe easier to just get into the habit of rolling from there to there. So it does that through once, and then the bass note changes again to the 3rd fret on the E string. So it's the same numbers again on the A string, 3, 5 and 6, same pattern, but the low note is the 3rd fret on the E string. So that sounds like this. It's a lot easier to play as well. Okay, so that riff in its entirety slowed down is like this. Okay, so you got that, and then there's a little fill that goes at the end of the second one, which is, so again, it's all the same frets you're working with, like 6s, 5s, 3s, it's all the same. It's all the same scale, it's all in the same key if you like. So we've got, that's the first 4 notes, 5, D, 3D, 6, 5 on the A, and then run down the scale starting on the 3rd fret on the D, down to 6, 5, ends on 3 there. So we've got so if you follow along with the tab as well, like you should do for all the riffs, and that when you're watching this, is follow along with the tab and make sure you understand what's right. So this is the chorus. With Jesse singing on it, Jesse Leach sang on this one. Nice, easy riff. So in the tab, I've just basically put like the chords down. 6, 3, and we go to this C power chord here on the A string. And then we're going to play a riff off of that. I'm playing it all with like down picking. You can play it like with alternate picking if you want. It's a bit that Joel plays actually. So instead of playing 6 to 3, what he's doing, or what the overdub in the recording anyway is doing, is 6th fret on the D, which again is, it's all part of the same thing, and it was using the same numbers, 6, 5 and 3. So the little overdubby bit that he's doing, I'm assuming he's doing anyway, is 6 and then 8B to 8 on the G. So that's like a little power chord shape itself, isn't it? You can see that. And then it's 8 on the A string, which is actually an F. It's exactly the same note as the 3rd fret. so it works perfect. And then the same two notes there. Yeah, so that's that. Then after that, what you're going to do is you're going to go back into riff B. You're going to play the chorus again, and then we've got this middle part which starts off with Adam D doing something, and then the two guitars do this really cool little riff in 3/4 time. So yeah, okay. So after the second chorus, there's just a ringing out underneath, just the open D chord, and Adam breaks off and plays this. So again, check the tab for the actual like timing. Sorry, just for the actual notes themselves. But we've got 12 and 14 on there. These are just like little dyads, just little 2-string chords. We've got that one, 12 and 12. Briefly, we have 12 on the D, 10 on the G. That one as well. So there's a little bit of finger swapping going on here. Then a slightly more easier one. It's a normal power chord shape, isn't it? 8 on the D, 10 on the G, back 2, which is just like a normal 4th power chord, 7 7 on those 2 strings. Now, the really cool riff is the one that comes after that. So I believe that riff that the little ringy riff carries on underneath this one. So this riff is in like 3/4, it might be 6/8, but it doesn't matter. You'll get it from the timing of it here. The good news is like the picking and the note placement and stuff stays pretty much exactly the same. The only thing that's changing is the frets you're playing. So we've got this one first. So the picking pattern stays the same. I'm using auto picking. So that's 8 to 5, 0 0 5 0 5. There you go. So it does that 4 times. And then same pattern that you're going to do. So same right hand, obviously, same left hand movement, but the frets have changed. So this time it's 7 and 3. Next one is 10 and 7. And then we actually go back to that one again, which is 8 and 5. So there's really not a lot to learn for that section. It's just piecing those ones together. I think the only difficult thing is the transitioning from place to place on the fretboard. So use your pinky and use that to guide you to where you want to go on the string. Don't look at your index finger too much. You can do if you want to, but like the pinky's more important, I guess, because if you fluff that up, then you kind of mess up the sound of the riff, and it's obviously a little bit harder to start a riff on a finger that isn't your index finger sometimes. Just pure chuggy kind of breakdown that I can't even syllabalize it with dugs. And then in that breakdown section as well, like one of the guitars briefly returns to that riff again underneath that. After that, you've got the main riff again, And then you are pretty much at the end of the song. Again, like I said, it goes back to the main riff. Adam D's laying some octaves over the top of it, I think, at the end. But other than that, it's like this is what makes the song really cool, because the structure of it is really simple, straightforward at least, and it's quite easy to follow. But they just made really, really good use of like one idea and create variations on it, which is obviously something that's really popular to do in music and songwriting. So check out the tab for it as well if you want to follow along with that. And in the next video, I'll do little play along of the song.